Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. So, wow, just all I can say really, the Galal, Yafai, Sonny Edwards fight was a shocker for me. Not the result, I thought Galal would win. In the Birmingham Arena, he had the home support more than anything. I mean, he's a young, up-and-coming fighter in terms of, although he's older than Sonny, bizarrely, he's still fresh. He's still very much in his prime. He's 31. But, I mean, he looked a level and a half above Sonny. I mean, obviously Sonny after round 2 is telling his corner he doesn't have it anymore, he doesn't want to be there. That's disappointing, isn't it? When you've sold it as the fight of the year. It's for the WBC number 1 contendership interim title. It's a big fight on the zone. And you've come out with that. Disappointing for the fans, of course, who travelled. It was a solid, 15,000 in there. Eddie Hearn's probably losing his head when he's hearing that in the corner. But, I mean, Galal just beat him up. I thought Galal was going to stop him within the first 10 seconds. He buzzed Sonny, didn't he? And the problem is Sonny, I think legs have gone. He talked about constant injuries, ankle injuries, leg injuries, which I can understand. That can't be too fun. But he's physically hasn't got it, has he? At the world elite level. He couldn't hold or fight Galal off. Galal was just steamrolling him. He just couldn't get him off him. He hasn't got the punch power to get Galal's respect. And if you haven't got that, he's going to walk through you. Galal's smart though. He doesn't just walk in straight lines, does he? He comes off line, slips his head movement. He's a powerful pressure fighter. I do think Sonny caught him a few times with a check left hook as Galal was coming in on when he had Sonny backed up on the ropes. And he's got to be careful about that when he fights Jesse Rodriguez Bam Bam, because now Bam Bam has got the power who could really hurt you and put a dent in you. So Galal has to shore that up. He's acceptable for the left checked hook and a bit of the uppercut sometimes. But besides a few nice shots from Sonny in that regard, he just got beaten up. He got backed up. And where was the slick sort of movement, like the non-stop dancing around the ring and the jab and the awkward style, that's all gone. He's almost like he just planted his feet and tried to slug it out with Galal. You're never going to beat Galal's more than a slugger, but you're not going to outslug a big slugger, are you? I mean, it's just madness tactics, but maybe it's because his mentality, he wanted to get out there, he thought, right, I'm just going to throw haymakers for the 5 rounds. If I can't do it, then I'm done. But I mean, it was a strange performance. He looked like an old man in there, physically weak, and his legs had gone, which is bizarre at 28. You think in his prime years, but it was a sad sight because Sonny's been a very good fighter. Former WBC champion before Bam Bam. I think Bam Bam knocked the stuffing out of him as well, if I'm being honest with you. I think that was a bad beat down towards the end of that fight, although Sonny showed tremendous heart, of course, in that fight. And I don't think Sonny's really been the same since. He's sort of had his ego and confidence shattered. And he's had this whole bizarre thing going on with his brother, hasn't he, which can't help distractions. And he has a bit of a celeb wannabe outside the ring, isn't he? Sort of always partying and get up to no good. And you wonder if that's caught up with him. But I mean, that was a beat down, and the ref was absolutely right in stopping it in round 6 because Sonny was getting battered, and he bizarrely showed heart though. He didn't quit, did he? He took his punches, he took his licks, he's tried to fight back, but I mean, it was only one winner. And the ref stopped him getting hurt. Probably in round 7 he'd be knocked out. So at least he managed to retire on his feet, so to speak. And of course, it's a TKO win for Galal, which is the right thing to do. And Sonny announced his retirement immediately after. I mean, it was a bit of a shock, but it's the right thing to do, I think, because you could see his heart's not really in it anymore. He doesn't fight like he used to. Don't think he's got the same swagger or confidence, does he? He hasn't got the feet movement, the leg movement anymore, or that thunderous jab he had, because he's never going to be a power puncher, he's never going to be a brawler, he hasn't got the power. But he had the slick, unorthodox skills, which was a nightmare. And I thought he'd be a nightmare for Galao in many ways, before tiring and losing down the stretch. But I thought he'd go to points. I thought Galao would get the nod, especially in Birmingham, you know, with a passionate home crowd for him. But, you know, he's got Rob McCracken there, again, trying to force him to fight aggressively, like a mini Cole Fox drill, isn't he? You know, he puts the pressure on you and he's relentless. And, I mean, besides Bam Bam, I can't see anyone beating Galao. He's only had 10 fights, which is madness. Obviously, he won Olympic gold and he's huge amateur pedigree, but he can box, he can put pressure on you, he can hit. He's an all-round good fighter. He really is. He's just got to be careful going in for the kill for someone like Bam Bam. I think it's a bit too early, but unfortunately he's number one contender now. So I'd like to see Galao have one or two tune-up fights before, and another year before fighting Bam Bam, who's still young and hungry himself, because he really is the real deal. But I mean, that was an impressive performance. I mean, literally relentless pressure on Sonny's chest the whole fight, and Sonny just couldn't live with him, couldn't get him off. And he, you know, he showed some balls to stay in there for 6 rounds, but you know, you wonder, did he really want to win? Because he did, he wouldn't have fought like that, planting his feet and trying to slug it out with someone who's a harder hitter, who fights that style, stronger than you. He just got backed up and beat up, and I think it's it. I don't think he'll come back. I know 28 is a young age, but obviously in the lower weights, like the Superfly, which he was, fighters do decline earlier because they rely on reflex and speed. A bit like gymnastics, I call it, gymnastics boxing. The gymnastics retire early, and so do the light divisions. They sort of peak early, don't they, with their speed and reflexes, and I think he's gone. I think his reflexes and the footwork, which you saw a couple of years ago, which made him so elusive, so difficult to fight, probably the best Superfly in the world, you know, 3-4 years ago. But now it's a long way back, because he's not going to beat Bam Bam in a rematch. He won't beat Galao, and they're the top two. They're going to hold all the belts, so I'm sure he doesn't want to, with his ego, go down to European or British light, you know, level. There's no money in that. So it's probably a smart move. Hopefully he's got other ventures, other businesses. He can, or even coach, can't he now? He's still young. Give great wisdom. He speaks well, Sonny. He'd actually be a good commentator now, wouldn't he? You know, he's very open, very real personality. But Galao, the world's his oyster. But unfortunately, the one man who could beat him, he's in line for now. Bam Bam. I don't think he wants to rush that. If it's next, I think it's too soon for him. But we'll see. That was a very dominant, very impressive performance, and he's a unit. And the only man who can beat him as Superfly is Bam Bam. So credit. What a fight, what a win. And he goes on, and it's sad to see Sonny like that, especially in round 2, saying to his corner he doesn't have it anymore. And he did well to hang on for another 4 rounds, because I thought, right, he's done now. Saying that, next round he's getting knocked out. But it was a surprise. It was disappointing, like I say. He sold the fight well pre-fight. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. DAZN, Eddie Hearn was selling it, big crowd in Birmingham. To say that, to sort of mentally swallow, was disappointing. But I wish him well. Listen, he's achieved great things. To win a WBC world title, phenomenal achievement. But I think he's probably right to call it, saying his body's beat up with constant niggles. I can see that. He's so light. If he comes back, he needs to go up, doesn't he? He needs to go up to fly. He can't fight that way. He just looks physically drained and weak. But I think he's done. And as for Galao, I'd like to see him 1 or 2 tune-up fights and then go for Bam Bam. And let's see who the man is at Superfly. I think it's Bam Bam still, but Galao's not far off. What a fighter in his prime. He's only getting better. All right, guys. I'd like to hear what you think about Sonny's retirement and his performance. At times he showed heart, but other times it was just a very strange tactical performance. Flat-footed, no dancing, no jabbing, no head movement. Just try to slug it out of a slugger. But Galao moves on. I want to hear your comments, and I'll be back with the next one. All right, guys. See you later.